Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the Imagine Dignity podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Terrence here. Right now, I am in the state of South Carolina. I'm actually in the city of Greenville. You know, I got up early this morning and I was driving around and I started to notice something really unique about this city. I noticed that there was a lot of new construction. I noticed that there was a lot of gentrification, but to my surprise, I didn't really see anybody on the streets. It seemed like there were a lot of people who were maybe displaced, maybe pushed to another side of town, or maybe they're just invisible right now. Luckily, I got a chance to meet my friend Norman right here in the city. And Norman, we're in Greenville, and one of the things that you told me that really struck me is that there was a lot of new buildings going up and things like that. Have you seen this city change?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. It's different buildings. Like, that used to be the Greenville News building.
Like the building that's sitting in front of us?
Sitting in front of us. It's also a bank inside. It's Channel 7 News building.
And you said something that really struck me. You said the lowest costing room to stay in this is $600.
The cheapest room in that motel is $600 a night.
A night?
A night.
You know, it's heavy for me because like this building in front of us is $600 a night, but I met you like less than a block away from here and you were sleeping on a park bench.
Right.
How does that contrast?
It hurts me so bad because, man, we're right across from City Hall where the mayor office is. I went inside City Hall and I wanted to speak to the mayor. The lady wouldn't let me speak to her, and I told her I was homeless. I needed a place to stay. I was on United Housing Connection list. I've been on there for 6 months, and I haven't heard anything about my apartment. So I said, let me speak to the mayor. I'm homeless. I need a place. I'm sleeping out here and it's cold. I'm talking about it's cold.
Wow.
And I ain't got about 3 blankets.
Yeah.
And that ain't gonna keep you warm. So she said the mayor's busy, so plus they got security in there. I say,
yeah.
She gave me a brochure saying this is the organization that'll help. I said, no, none of these, they don't do nothing for me.
I love the fact that you self-advocated, that you wanted to speak up and actually take it to the source to see if there was any help for you, because I think that's really important. If you find yourself in a vulnerable state and you know that there are people in power or people in positions to help you, you go directly to them. Isn't that what they teach us?
Right.
But like, the thing that strikes me the most is you were handed a brochure, but not really given any conversation. Why do you think that is?
Because they really didn't want to talk to me. Listen, when you got a black man that speaks his mind, you know, you got some black folks that with low self-esteem. They don't want to talk. They don't want to say this. They don't want to speak up. They didn't want to speak to me because I was so upset.
What were you upset about?
Because, man, I've been living out on these streets, man, almost 2 years now.
You've been on the street for 2 years?
2 years.
Right here in the city of Greenville?
In the city of Greenville, I've been in the streets. I also had a opportunity to sleep in the shelter down there, too. The homeless, I
actually rode by there earlier.
I stayed in there 2 days. I had got a bed and everything, signed up for it and everything. So one night, it was one of the guys that sleep in the shelter. He started saying, something biting me. He said, them bed bugs. So the next morning, I checked out because they had bed bugs in there.
Right. You've been on the streets for about 2 years.
2 years.
And here recently, you just got on a list for housing, but you haven't even heard anything yet.
Haven't heard anything. Yesterday, I was laying on that same bench that you came and talked to me on.
Yeah.
And I talked to one of the guys from Housing Connection. And he said he was going to be out here today. I haven't seen him yet.
Do people ignore you or treat you mean mostly out here?
Some of them do, and some of them don't. You know, I know this is a racial state.
The state of South Carolina.
The state of South Carolina is racial. This is a racial state, man. I asked him to buy me a sandwich. You know what he told me?
What's that?
He said, did you finish high school?
And you asked him for a sandwich because you've been living out on the streets.
Right.
And he asked you what?
Did I finish high school?
What does that have to do with?
In other words, he was trying to tell me, if you finish high school, why you haven't got you a job?
What was your response to that?
I just walked off.
Because you were hungry in that moment.
Right. I didn't want no money. I asked him to go buy it for me. I don't want them to give me no money. I tell them to go buy me the food.
Like, just when I walked up on you, man, I could tell that you were somebody who has a great personality, great heart. I could tell you're an outspoken person too.
Yeah, I'm a loner.
Yeah, and you're a loner. But what really drew me to you, man, is the fact that you were honest.
Right.
And I think sometimes when people see the unhoused community,
Right.
there's this level of this honesty that they feel on their side. Right. And that makes them not want to step across that line and build a relationship. And my question to you is, why do you think people fear those who are unhoused?
They don't really fear us, I believe. They don't really fear us.
Okay.
They want us to stay in the condition that we're in. Some of us out here that is homeless, man, get checks every month, but somebody's over my check.
Do you get like a disability check?
Yeah, I had a stroke in 2007. I couldn't walk or talk.
You couldn't walk or talk?
Couldn't walk or talk.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. I do remember the impact of a stroke when my father had one, and going to the hospital and being there with him and seeing him like paralyzed and stuff like that, and how he had to rehabilitate. So my heart goes out to you. And it takes a strong person to walk through that, you know.
The reason I'm homeless, man, because my mother died. I was living with my mother, man, and
wow.
That's how I became. We didn't own no house. We stayed in the projects.
In Greenville?
In Greenville, South Carolina, man.
Yeah.
And so we had to move out, man. And
you were close to your mom too.
yes.
I can tell.
That's when I became homeless. Then I tried to check in down here at the shelter. Then I went to the Salvation Army. They was full, the shelter was full. Then I used to have to get up at 5:30 in the morning just to stand out there in the cold, man, to just sign in, sign my name on a list.
Wow.
And wait to 8:30 before all the
beds were given out.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And man, and then I was going through some stuff, man, and it was so much weight on my shoulders, man, that I couldn't bear it, man.
Yeah.
So,
I could imagine like I lost my dad in January of this year, is 2024, and I'm still walking through that grief, brother, to be honest. You know, one of the reasons I'm out here and still doing this type of work is because right before my dad passed, he told me that he was really touched by the community work that I do. And so I'm not saying my situation is yours,
right.
but I could hear in your voice like the heaviness, even talking about your mom.
After my mom passed, man, I really lost it a minute. It was heavy, man, and I even spoke at my mother's funeral.
Wow.
Man,
it takes a lot of courage to do that.
But man, I've been going through so much in this town, in this little town right here.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying now to get on a board with the other homeless people that speaks out.
Oh,
against the
like
mayor.
A coalition.
Yeah, because we need another shelter in Greenville, South Carolina. There's 2 shelters.
Oh, it's 2 shelters.
The mayor's office is right across the street where we're speaking from.
Yeah.
If they want something built in this lot right here,
it'll happen immediately.
Just like that. We don't eat, but at the soup kitchen.
That's the only
on the
place
weekend they don't even serve food.
The soup kitchen is the only place that you can really get a meal.
Soup kitchen, or you go to the Catholic church.
Yeah. How long have you gone without a meal being out here?
4 days, man.
So out of 7 days last week, you didn't eat 4 days?
Man, I'm just got to be real, man. I used to walk down to the Spinks, man, down here on Falons Road.
Yeah.
You know them chickens that they have put in the bags?
Yeah.
I went in there one night and asked the lady, she said, no, we're going to throw all this away. And I said, let me get it. She said, no, we got to throw it. I went in the trash can.
Wow.
I went in the trash can, man.
They were about to waste the food anyway, and instead of indignity handing you what they were about to throw away,
right.
They threw it in the trash can.
I went in the trash can, man, and got that food. It ain't opening it, but I went in there and dig through it, man, and got me 4 bags of that chicken, man.
Wow.
And went back around to the stove and washed the bag off with some water.
Yeah.
And people pulled up in the car, man, and I told them to buy me a Pepsi. They buy me 2-3 big Pepsis, 2-liter Pepsis, man.
Yeah. And you had to do that just to eat, though.
Just to eat.
When somebody is mean to you, or you feel like you're not being heard, how do you respond to that? Do you respond with kindness? Do you respond with turning your head? I mean, because I'm really fascinated.
Not all the time, dude. When someone is mean to me, I respond with anger because I'm angry inside. The situation I'm in, I'm already mad and disgusted, but I try to turn that bad into good sometimes.
Okay, how do you turn it into good?
I'll just go, or I walk down to River Fall, down there by the water.
To try to calm your
Just
mind,
try
you
to
go
calm
by
my
the
mind
water.
and just sit right there on the side of the grass, man, and just get my mind, get focused back on what I'm on.
Yeah.
Because, man,
Is that how you motivate yourself?
That's how I motivate myself. I love to be around water.
Around water. That's powerful, man.
Man, and just ease my mind and where I can be calm and be relaxed.
Yeah. What's the most encouraging thing a person has done for you? Yeah.
I met this rich man 2 months ago, and I told him I was hungry. And I said, can you go in the ale house? Because I like to go in the ale house and get my chicken.
Yeah.
And he said, sure, come on, let's go in there. And he was telling me his story, man. And, you know, I talked to his wife and his children on FaceTime, on the phone and everything, man. He's running a big time business over there.
Yeah.
But anyway, he asked me these questions, and I showed him where I sleep at and everything, man. And he said, do you have clothes and anything? So he called the Uber.
He called you an Uber?
Me and him got in an Uber.
Oh, wow.
He took me all the way to Walmart. Me and him went to Walmart.
Wow.
He said, get everything you need.
And you didn't know this person
I never met this
from
man.
A can of paint.
This is my first time meeting him. I got underwear, t-shirts, socks, pants, shirts, He said, that's all? I didn't want to be greedy or, overdo it. He said, no, get what you need.
Yeah.
And I got what I need, man. He bought me a little suitcase to put all my stuff in.
And that lifted your spirit.
That's lifted my spirit, man. I would want y'all to know, man or woman, I would want y'all to stay strong and focus on the responsibility that's before y'all. Because if you let this right here, we already going through something within ourselves, but you got to stay strong to be able to go through it. God will not put you through it if you can't go through it.
You mentioned faith. I'm a person of faith. You believe God's walking with you?
I believe God is walking with me. You know why I say that?
Why?
My faith keeps me grounded, keeps me strong. I read my Bible. I read Psalms 91 every day.
Oh, that's my grandma's favorite song. Yeah.
I read Psalms 91 every day.
Can you quote a verse?
He that dwells in the shelter. Man, I can't.
He that dwells in the secret place
of the Most High.
Come on.
Shall dwell in the shelter of the Almighty.
Meaning that God protects.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another scripture in the Bible. The poor man cried out. And God delivered him out of all his troubles. That's my prayer. But it's one thing that I say to God every night before I lay down.
What's that?
I say, God, don't let me die in these streets. I say, give me one more chance to get it right.
That's right. My last question to you, man, is what would you want people to know about homelessness who may have never been unhoused before?
I'm glad you asked that question.
Okay.
I believe it was in 1989.
Okay.
I was living with my mother, and I used to see people, man, that didn't have nowhere to go in our neighborhood. I'm 58 years old.
Wow.
But I never thought that I would become homeless.
Wow.
I never thought this, man. I was living in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And we used to go in the Dollar General. She said, oh, here come them homeless people. Here come them homeless people. They ain't got no money. I don't know why they keep coming in the store every day. You got to be careful what come out your mouth. In 3 months, she was right on the streets with us.
So you're saying that you would want people who may judge those who are unhoused to know that you never know, because it could be you.
That's right. I told a man that the other night.
Yeah. I
went in Tropical Drill, and they used to give us free food.
Yeah.
But they changed managers, everything. I tell the manager, I say, hey, man, I'm homeless, man. I get some? He said, no, we can't do it. I said, let me tell you something. And I ain't being smart or funny. I say, You got children. You better pray that your children don't be in my steps.
Not that you're wishing that on this
Now,
child.
I'm not wishing,
but
I'm
you're trying to
somebody's
get
child.
Ooh,
I'm
you're
somebody's child too.
Yeah.
Just like you somebody's child.
That's right. You're saying that you're somebody's child, we're all somebody's child, and you would want the best for your children.
I want the best for everybody, man.
Norman,
Yes.
what's the most important thing you need right now, man? I know earlier you said
I'm going to get something to eat.
you're going to get something to eat.
I'm going to the ale house.
To the ale house.
Right up the street. Huh?
Yeah. Okay, well, I got your meal today, bro.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Let me, bro, I gotta ask you, man, what made you even want to talk to me and be on my podcast? Because you're going to be on the Imagine Dignity podcast.
Because, man, somebody need to hear my story. Somebody need to know that there's hope. You just hold on and stay strong. Everybody got a story, but somebody might be going through what I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
They need to hear an encouraging word from somebody.
Brother, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you, brother. Thank y'all, brothers, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Hey, everybody. I just got finished filming an episode of the Imagine Dignity podcast, and I got a chance to talk to my brother and friend named Norman. One of the things that stood out to me about Norman was his ability to articulate himself, like his passion to self-advocate. We discussed anything from him going to the mayor's office to just assert himself and talk about homelessness, to him being handed a brochure and then being put out of the mayor's office. We talked about the contrast of him sleeping on a park bench not too far from City Hall, and less than a block away there were motel or hotel rooms that were $600 a night. The duality, the contrast, his heart, but also his knowledge about the city was heartfelt to me. You know, I really loved our conversation, but it reminded me of how much work has to be done in terms of the access to actual resources as it relates to homelessness. Norman talked about how there were people coming out to help him that never showed up. And he also talked about how, you know, there are a lot of people who are unhoused in the city of Greenville that are hidden. You know, when I think about just some of the things that he was saying throughout the interview, it lets me know that there is an issue and a problem that's widespread across the country as it relates to hiding homelessness. In order to address homelessness, we have to be real about the issues, but also be real about the growing number of this population. And the reason why I say growing number is because, you know, when people are out of sight, they're not only out of mind, but we're not creating more access and more solutions and more resources to address this issue. I hope you were challenged by Norman's conversation, but greater than that. But I hope you also get a chance to reflect at how sometimes hidden homelessness actually removes us from being proximate to the stories in real time of what people are actually going through. There are dualities and contrasts not only happening in the city of Greenville, but all across the country. And we got to continue to advocate and stand in solidarity with people who are unhoused.